All right, everybody, it's Amanda Stevens. You're here with The Neutral, and I'm here with LPN at Final Round 2019. Unfortunately, not in top 8.
Well, I was close. I was probably about 2 or 3 matches away, but I got into top 32, loser side. I guess the biggest moment was when I beat Fujimura. I thought I was going to go further, but I actually lost to Nguyen right away to his Ibuki, so...
Oh man, that's a little. I mean, I also feel, and this isn't to pick on you. This might like highlight, but I feel like people forget that Xian's a player sometimes, and then they like run into him in a tournament, and then they're like, oh man, there's more than just Fujimura's Ibuki. Shoot.
It's really hard to prepare for a player like Xian because his style is so clean, but he has so many sick and dirty setups that you just have to constantly keep following him, and you have to keep updated with what he's doing. If you don't, then it's expected to lose. I mean, he's a great player.
So, we're out here at Final Round. It's the start of the CPT. You, as someone who competes on the CPT, they made a bunch of changes this year.
Yep.
What do you think about the sort of the changes they've made to the tour? Because you've been playing for a while, so you've seen sort of the progression in the direction the tour is going. Do you like the way it's progressing?
I would always say that every time they make a new step, it's going in the right direction, but it's just not a huge enough step. Just changing up the score distribution and the eligibility for certain tournaments. It's all going in the right direction, just like how all the Street Fighter V patches are, but they're not impactful enough just yet.
Okay, so like, for example, ranking events finally got some points given back to them. Last year, it felt like a huge struggle to go to ranking events because especially if you're not sponsored, someone like you, going all the way out, to Singapore to win a point after beating 270 people and getting 8th place doesn't feel good. So do you think putting some of the points back into the ranking events is going to help people if they can't, make it out to every single major? Now you can kind of go to your smaller local events.
I think it'll better the incentive to actually go out to events in general, right? Like, there's been several complaints in the past few years, like, oh, I made top 16, top 8 in all these tournaments, but at the end of the year, I only got 32 points. It really doesn't add up. If you do the math of how much it costs to fly out, how much to enter for hotels and everything, you're actually losing a lot of money just to barely get into the Capcom Cup, just barely, right? And it's really unsatisfying. It sucks. People work hard for their money to travel out and work on these expensive hobbies, but it's very fortunate for sponsored players to go out there as well. But at the end of the day, it comes at the sponsor's expense too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why players get dropped because their results weren't good enough. I felt like they're actually great results. It just didn't get them into Capcom Cup, which really sucks. I mean, that's how it is, though.
So what do you think of the 3v3 league?
Teams are actually an awesome idea. I think it's the next step in the evolution for esports, especially for Street Fighter V. A lot of the esports games right now, the popular ones, they're all team-based, right? And even though Street Fighter V is 1v1, they do have a team integration in the game. It hasn't really been utilized yet. I think we should definitely expand on that, and I think we should push that as the frontier for the game itself right now.
That's a really interesting perspective because, like, when it was announced, it seemed like the FGC Twitter and like our Kappa and our Street Fighter were all like, "No, this is too esports." What do you mean you can ban out characters? This isn't fighting games. And you're coming here with this like very positive perspective of like what it can do. Do you sort of agree somewhat with this sort of like internet opinion of like are you pro character bans?
I can definitely see the perspectives on both sides. I mean, look at the game. There's like 30 plus characters, right? Banning one character per match isn't gonna be like the end of it. Like,
I mean, like you play Bison, right? So like if you were on a team and someone banned Bison, would you feel confident enough on like another one of the 31 remaining characters to still be worth that spot?
Well, for me, I guess I'm a little biased about it because I can play multiple characters and I'm extremely comfortable. And I would say that I was born ready for this type of situation. And I've always been an advocate of pushing people to learn multiple characters. Even if you don't want to main them, you should always have the knowledge, be prepared for it, right? And come this opportunity where they do a team tournament where they have a stipulation where your character can get banned. And there's been a lot of, I would say, backlash on it. saying like, "Oh, this is the only character I know how to play," yada yada. It's like you can't possibly only know how to play Ryu. The character's been alive for like 2 decades. Like there's so many new characters in the game that's been introduced. You have to at least gone in training mode, practice, play against other friends, and learn how the character works, right? And I guess the confidence level, it's really all-time low if you can't play your favorite character. But like I said before, it's not the end of the world. It's just another avenue you could take. So I'm actually neutral about banning characters and how the league format works. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's the next level for progress for this franchise, for Street Fighter 5 in general, that we need to take it to the next level of teams. Single competition is fun and all, but it can only last for so long.
So would you like to see more tournaments maybe have more sort of serious team? Because like I always feel like when a tournament has like a team event, right? Like they had the one for Dragon Ball. It was just kind of like, well, we're here. Like we might as well, Team Echo Fox, Team Energy. We might as well just do these things.
Thing, right?
Yeah, or even like Team Japan won versus Team USA won. Like there's some bragging rights, but it's no one's like super grinding for these things. Would you like there to be maybe a little bit more of a focus on team events just to sort of like get the community more used to it? Or do you think that events are already too jam-packed with, having to compete for the CPT?
CPT is main priority right now, so that's completely understandable. Team tournaments have always been side tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, like they always do like, hey, it's Friday night, nothing's going on. Let's throw a team tournament out of nowhere. And you only get like, 15 to 20 teams, which is cool. But I think team tournaments should be the focal point. It should be a separate tournament, separate event compared to a singles tournament. Like it's fun because it's convenient. You could do it there. But if you keep splitting the focus, it's never going to be able to progress.
Yeah, and I think it kind of is why maybe the community has sort of this like opinion about a team event, because they're used to it being kind of a little bit jokey, a little bit more like fun because it's on Friday.
Yeah, there's nothing really significant on the line for team except for bragging rights, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you split the money. There's not a huge pop bonus, and then a lot of people just play like secondaries or whatever just to goof off. And at the end of the day, majority of times Team Asia does win because they're just better well prepared for it. Obviously, they do a lot of team functions overseas, and it's amazing. Like the Third Strike tournament, like that's huge. That's the biggest team tournament. Everybody loves it. No matter where you're from, everybody tunes in. And I wish we had something similar like that over here in America.
So, you're talking about Street Fighter 5, but I know that you've been playing, fighting games for, just a little bit of time, just a while. And as one of those currently unsigned players, what keeps you still competing, this long when you were talking about, you go out to an event, you come in 16th, but, that doesn't cover the flight, the hotel, the time off from work?
I would say I would blame it on my never-ending fire for competition, and obviously I want to prove a point. You don't have to be a sponsored player to compete at the same level as sponsored players do. Everybody is just an individual who loves the game, right? Like I want to go out there and express myself however I want to. I don't want any restrictions. I want everyone to do the same thing. I know that it can be difficult, travel expenses and getting there. But once you're there, you got to put in the work, do the damage as much as you can. And I still do it to this very day. I've been starting since 2009.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while. I mean, I haven't won like EVO or any crazy super top tier tournaments, but I've come close though. So, I mean, as long as I still have the fire and the passion just to compete in general and for the love of the franchise, I'm going to keep competing.
All right. So, the tour is a very long thing. When I was talking to Bon Chan, he said that the minimum goal for anyone competing on the tour should be qualifying for the Capcom Cup. When you're grinding it out for a year, and you don't make something like the Cup, which I do kind of agree should be sort of the minimal goal, right? Maybe not winning EVO or like winning CEO, but like having the points to at least qualify for the end of the year event. How do you keep that fire when you kind of don't meet those sort of benchmark goals?
That's an interesting question. A lot of people, they do get deterred after a simple loss for an event, and thinking back like how much money they spent to get there and all that stuff. And really, you got to prioritize, what's going on in your life. For me, I've always made room for competition. I used to do martial arts, so I know how to do that. For video games, it did begin a little different, but I mean, it's part of my life. It's a huge part of my life. And for me, every time I lose at a major event, I go back home and I get re-energized. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's great to know that there's people out there who are better than you, and you can't be complacent where you are. You know, you could only go up from there. You shouldn't be going down. If you're going down, then something needs to be corrected. And for me, every time I go to a major event, I lose. I just keep getting better and better and better until I reach that point where I could say that I'm the best, but it's going to be a long while.
All right, so, you know, you're talking about the best. In your opinion, right now, with the way the game is, who do you think the best Street Fighter V player is at the moment?
I would say the best Street Fighter V player at the moment would probably still be Fujimura, who I actually beat yesterday.
Does that mean so does that mean that since you won that you're technically the best?
I mean, dude. I mean, yeah. Technically, I would have been the best, but then Nguyen just beat me right afterwards. So he's the best.
So he's the best. So does it just pass like a belt?
It's pretty much. I mean, it's transitive properties. Like, it could change any given day. Imagine this, like WWE, right? They have the hardcore championship. Any given day, someone could be a new champion, just like that.
Yeah.
But Fujimura has been pretty consistent, and I think he's extremely strong next to Gachu-kun. And Tokido, obviously, he's in the top 8 hemisphere for sure. But those 3 players, I mean, they just rotates, right?
There wasn't a Western player there, though. What happened?
Not yet. Not yet. Hopefully, I will fill in that slot soon.
Soon?
But the closest, consistent, strongest West Coast player, I would say, this year so far? Or, I'm sorry, adding last year into this year, I want to say...
Or is it Wong?
It's Wong close, back? Actually. Wong is actually getting a lot better. Don't get me wrong, like, near the later end of the year. But I still think it's Punk, though.
You still think it's Punk? All right, I can respect that. I can respect that. So, you know, final round, it's over today. What is next for LPN? Where is he slaying people?
Next time I'm going to be slaying someone, it's going to be nearby my home state. I'll be in Northern California for NorCal Regionals. Feel free to come out, you guys. It's the end of the month of March, actually. I think it's the last weekend.
Yep.
So I'll be there for sure, ending Street Fighter V. Also, multiple other games, too. I want to enter Smash.
Why weren't you in the Smash tournament today? It looked like it was kind of free.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't know there was a Smash tournament going on this week.
Are you going to be playing some MK11 when it comes out?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Like, I don't know if you guys see my boy Garrus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like to slow down times and punch people.
I'm all about grapplers, and I'm all about cheap stuff. So, like, he freezes time, and he's a grappler. So, like...
That looks mad cheap.
Right?
I love it. Right when I saw it, I was like, that's me.
I mean, like I say in every interview, I'm an Abigail player, not because I think Abigail is like the most amazing character. It's because I just need to hit you like 4 times to take your health bar, and you have to hit me like 100
so
to hit.
Relatable, you know? Like, that's how a character design should be, like instant connection, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people had a lot of difficulties in the early stages of Street Fighter V because it was a limited cast.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know how to play this character, blah, blah, blah. A couple months later, they're like, oh, that's totally me. I'm Rashid. I'm a scumbag. That fits me. I'm like, oh, there you go.
So is that something I should tell JB, that you think all Rashids are scumbags?
Most of them.
Well, you know, on that note, is there anybody you want to shout out? Any other events that might be coming up that you should be plugging?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Shout outs to my wonderful girlfriend, Embers and Roses. She's throwing this event coming up next weekend called Combat for the Cause. This is March, and it's going to be the month for mental awareness. So feel free to come out, you guys. It's going to be held at Esports Arena Oakland in Northern California. It's a one-day event. There's a lot of sponsors that are going to be there. And, of course, our buddy Crackfiend, he's going to be cooking his famous brisket there. All you guys got to do is show up on time, pay $5, I think, and you guys get an amazing selection of briskets he's going to be making. So, yeah.
And also, if you can't make it out to Oakland, there'll be a link in the description on how you can support it on Matcherino. And there's a bunch of other sponsors that will be selling items in their stores where the proceeds will go to the event.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for coming out and letting me roast you a little bit.
No problem at all, man. It's a pleasure. I love cooking barbecue. I love getting cooked. It's cool.
And remember, guys, until next time, go beyond and plus ultra.